Dear friends, dear colleagues, I would like to thank you for your invitation to come into your beautiful city. It was a great pleasure to take full advantage of your generous hospitality. I wish to say that this forum is an additional step forward on the path to our cooperation. I'm here to represent one of the northern regions of Russia, part of the Arctic region. I'm here to talk to you about the potential developments of the port of Murmansk. There are major projects by Rosneft that are connected to the platform. You have to come and visit us. The Arctic region in Russia is very rich in resource. There are as much as 70% of gas, 20% of condensed gas, and 15% of all the oil in Russia. And I'd like to share with you another secret. All the companies involved in the hydrocarbons project in the Arctic regions, especially those who are going to work in the west part of the Arctic, some way or the other are going to be referring or using the services as provided by the port of Murmansk. Over the next 40 years, the city of Murmansk is going to play a very important role. It is going to be much more developed than Stavanger in Norway. They plays the same role as Murmansk for us. It is indeed the main reference in Norway, and the same role has been played in Scotland by Aberdeen. So you're all kindly invited to come to us and cooperate. The most important conditions to take full advantage of the resources in the Arctic are developing sustainable transport, and the key role is in the northern maritime route. In order to promote transport across this route, we have to further develop the infrastructures of transport, first and foremost the port infrastructures. You live in the southern country, and perhaps you might not envisage the difficulties we have to come to terms with in our area. Our port indeed is, during the winter, is all ice. If you look at the geographic map, you see that the only port that can be used throughout the year, because it is placed in a very convenient area, is indeed Murmansk. Murmansk is a really unique port in the bay of the Kola Bay. We don't have to dig and dredge this port. The depth is quite sufficient. It is indeed as deep as 300 meters. And this obviously paves the way to many different opportunities if whatever size ship can indeed find the adequate depth. It is a unique port again because it is open across the board during the year. There are many transport infrastructure starting from the Murmansk hub. Already all the infrastructures are in place to repair ships, for example, but there's only usually one piece of the coast which is actually developed, and that is the city of Murmansk, because the port lies very much at the center of the city, and that is the only area again which is fully equipped. The western side of the Kola Bay is desert. There are no infrastructures there, and the only reason why we cannot develop infrastructures is the total lack of railroad, and we decided to fill this gap. Now, with reference to the Murmansk port, I would like to say that here come the ships of the Russian companies, as well as the icebreakers that are propelled with nuclear energy. And these icebreakers with nuclear power are pretty much unique. These ships indeed can make the job much easier for the merchant fleet, and thus paving the way again to transport goods between Europe and Asia. And I'm sure that you can see it for yourselves. Most of the goods are accounted for by mineral fertilizers, and fertilizers actually are produced based on concentrate, i.e. metal with mineral that is extracted in our peninsula, and the general turnover, or the average turnover of the port equaled 30 tons per year. And this is not the limit. The existing infrastructure that doesn't allow us to increase the turnover. I've already said that the port lays on one of the banks of the Kola Bay, on the east bank, but in order to use also the western shore, the one which is deserted at the present point in time, we decided to launch an integrated development project to make it a hub. And I'm referring to a project which is a federal level project. It doesn't just entail, but that is just the Murmansk region. It is going to be developed thanks to public and private funds, mainly with the support of the state. The final objective is to develop a port where goods can be sorted. The port is going to be fully integrated along the international north-south corridor. I'm sorry, I realized that nobody's advancing my slide, so here we go. Here you can see where the port lies. You see that again, one of the shores is completely deserted, and with these little arrows, with these red marks, we identify the existing infrastructures. As I was saying, the main objective of this project is that of developing infrastructures on the western side, on the western shore. We have to develop, for example, the railroad system to integrate the facilities both east and west of the Kola Bay, and then we also want to develop the port infrastructures. The cost of this project will be equal to 150 million ruble. 89 million ruble will be made available by private investors, and 55 will be made available by public funds. The project includes also the development of port infrastructures on the west shore. Coal terminal is going to be developed with a capacity of 18 million tons of coal, and an oil terminal, and then a container terminal as well. There's another important part of the project, and that is of the Norilsk Nickel company that will have the capacity of 1.5 million tons. The financing for that is of 30 billion rubles. The main flows of the Norilsk Nickel transport company include a terminal that they already manage, and the main flows, as I was saying, includes their own product, but then they also provide transport services. Indeed, their ships transport 1 million tons of different goods along the North Maritime route. Even Gazprom Neft has planned to transport their oil using a port, using the oil deposit, which is called Umba. It's a floating infrastructure, the development of which is going to start shortly. Here, there's going to be the collection of the oil deposit with 15 million tons overall capacity. The project for the development of the Murmansk port was supported by the top leaders. President Putin said that the project is very important for the development of the country, stating that the development of the Murmansk transport hub is undoubtedly an important component of Russia's economic growth and infrastructure development, as this concerns access to the other side of the bay from where the port is now located. The project will enable to give access to the open sea, and as such it is a national priority project. The project is important also because it allows for the further exploitation of all the oil deposits in the Arctic. Murmansk is the nearest terminal. And in the general framework of the federal program for the development of extraction on the Western platform or the continental platform, deposits have already been created in the port for the Rosneft and Gazprom. The infrastructure is already in place for the servicing of the ships. In this slide, you see the servicing centers and other elements of the infrastructures in Rosliakovo, and this is the project or the Rosneft company. The partnership between our region and Rosneft is of key importance, obviously, for the whole region. There's a ship servicing company that was a part of the unified shipyard net and is now part of the Rosneft. Here we believe that we can provide support for the drilling platforms on the continental area. So we also want to develop the railroad. An industrial cluster will be further developed, and also a plant for the development or equipment for the offshore drilling. Now, I'm not going to list all the projects that are underway in the hands of Rosneft, but trust me, there's a whole set of projects that are going to be developed. There's another important project by Rosneft, and that is the supply base, the coastal supply base, whose production is already underway in the Kola Bay. This will allow for ongoing work in the drilling platform thanks to this supply base, and a new oil deposit was identified. Here you see that there's over 200 bank and an area with some 5 hectares available for further development. Once the Roslaikova oil deposit is exploited, this area is going to be used for the transport of hydrocarbons coming from the West Arctic oil deposits. This is the Novatek Center. This is going to be placed again on the west side, on the west shore of the Kola Bay. This government decision has already been made to create a center to provide support and repair to the large size ships. Now, I'm not going to list all the projects which are underway, but I think that this tells you that this project can only be implemented if we have all what we need available, so all the different components. Now, considering again the Northwest Passage, the maritime route, well, this has a number of advantages vis-a-vis the traditional route. This cuts the route by 1/3 and is much safer. The international project of the Murmansk region. Well, our region is very close to West European countries such as Norway and Finland. We are quite well integrated already in our international relations. There are indeed a number of intergovernmental agreements underway. This obviously brings about an important set of synergies. Now, to wrap up, let me say that the Murmansk region has depends very much by the speed at which we implement the projects that have already been agreed upon. But the full exploitation of the Arctic, the enhancement of this region, requires international cooperation, and I believe that all the deposits, all the that we have available in Murmansk region are well measured, or are certainly are well worth it of major efforts, because I think that we are always going to draw benefit from it. Thank you very much, the Governor.